You know what, guys? Late last night, I couldn't sleep. I was having nightmares. I had a massive epiphany, and I am here to fill out and redo my full bracket. I already did one of these, but I'm redoing it. This is real, guys. This is legitimate. I'm not trolling. My legitimate bracket, fully NCAA Tournament 2022. We've already kicked off the first four. Let's quickly do this. This is going to be, I'm going to win the tournament challenge. I'm going to win the freaking tournament challenge. I had a vision about this. This is crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, round of 64, we've got Gonzaga taking on Georgia State. We remember Georgia State about 4 years ago went on a massive March Madness run. I see that momentum continuing here, and I am, guys, I'll be honest, I'm not trolling here. I'm being honest. Gonzaga, Mark Few, one too many DUIs for him. Chet Holmgren, I'm not seeing it. They're not that good this year. I have Georgia State pulling off the upset. We got Boise State and Memphis, 8v9. I'm liking Memphis. They went on a massive run. A lot of talent overall. Give me Memphis, Uconn, and New Mexico State. And this is the typical 12v5 upset. I'll take New Mexico State over Uconn. The Big East is really average. Uconn's just another average Big East team, not very good. Arkansas, Vermont. This is a typical upset. We all know it. Vermont's unbelievable. Vermont should be like a top 10 team right now in college basketball. It's crazy how good Vermont is. I have Vermont winning. Next, we've got Alabama versus Rutgers or Notre Dame. I've actually got Rutgers beating Notre Dame and then beating Alabama. Rutgers is a good team out of the Big Ten. Alabama, they don't shoot the ball as well as they did last year. I see Bama going home in the first round. Texas Tech and Montana State. Guys, I saw a headline. Montana State has won 18 of their last 20 games. I'm feeling the upset there. I'm seeing it right there. That's an upset. Next, or excuse me, I didn't even pick that game. Next, we've got Michigan State and Davidson. And I do like Davidson, Michigan State. The thing with Michigan State, there's just no good players on that team. They're all average. No good players on Michigan State. They've got a lot of mediocre guys. I've got Davidson winning that one. Next, we've got Duke taking on Cale State Fullerton, and I've got some bad news for Coach K. He's going home in an upset in round one. Cale State Fullerton, they won their conference. They're looking so amazing. I scouted them for over 4 hours last night. Yeah, I know Cale State Fullerton's winning that game. We're on to the East region. It is Baylor taking on Norfolk State. Have you guys seen Norfolk State recently? Oh my God. I've got Norfolk State winning this game. This is your typical 16v1 upset. We saw it happen a few years ago with Virginia. Baylor coming into this game lethargic. They've had injuries. There's question marks. Don't love them. Give me Norfolk State to advance. North Carolina and Marquette. I will take Marquette to beat North Carolina. I believe they're favored in this game. Pretty obvious there. Marquette over North Carolina. Now St. Mary's and Indiana. And I was watching Indiana last night. They just destroyed Wyoming. It wasn't even close. Give me Indiana over St. Mary's. Trace Jackson Davis. There's a lot of momentum right now in that Indiana program after that big win. Then we've got UCLA taking on Akron. Akron is unbelievable. You guys gotta understand something. Akron out of the MAC, that's one of the most loaded conferences this year in college basketball. The MAC is stacked. They should have been a 5-bid league. But you know what? I'll take Akron. They won their conference. And UCLA, they've dealt with injuries. They've looked disinterested. A lot of question marks with UCLA being a 4 seed. They made their major run last year. They're due for a big letdown. Texas and Virginia Tech. I don't know how Virginia Tech is an 11 seed after winning the ACC, destroying Duke. They're going to handle Texas. Texas really struggles to score. I've got Virginia Tech winning that game. Purdue and Yale. You know what? Give me Yale. I'll take the Ivy League champions. This is going to be a close game, higher scoring. I've got a lot of respect for Purdue, but Yale's just a little bit better. They're a little bit better. Murray State and San Francisco. I'll take San Francisco. This is probably the most fun game around one. 7v10, Murray State, San Francisco. Two really good teams, but San Francisco, you take a look at their Ken Palm, their analytics. This is a top 25 team in college basketball. They've got better analytics than Murray State, so they will win. And then we've got Kentucky taking on St. Peter's. You know, I really like Kentucky, but when it comes to the tournament, when you don't have a guard that can score, you struggle. And Kentucky has Oscar Tshiebwe. He'll get his 16 rebounds. St. Peter's is fine with Oscar Tshiebwe getting 16 rebounds. They don't care. They're better shooters. They're going to score. They're going to light it up from long range. St. Peter's in an upset. Not many people are predicting that one. Next, we've got Arizona taking on Wright State or Bryant. I've got Bryant beating Wright State. And then, guys, I'll be honest with you, I'm telling you, I'm being honest. I never bought into Arizona from the beginning of the season. I've never bought into them. They play in a weak, watered-down conference. They've, gotten a bunch of wins off of bad Big 12 teams. I've got Bryant actually beating Arizona. I'm dead serious. I think Bryant gets it done. We've seen the 16v1 upset before. This is realistic. It's happened. Virginia, they got upset. We understand that. Seton Hall taking on TCU. I like TCU. I think TCU should have been on the 7 line. They play in a really tough conference. Still got about 19 wins. I like TCU. Houston and UAB. Give me UAB. UAB is such a good team. Houston, little bit of a fraud. Their resume is really weak in that American Conference. Not a lot of good wins. UAB, they score a bunch. I'll take them. Illinois and Chattanooga. This Chattanooga team, I've got Chattanooga winning this game. This Chattanooga team is impressive. They score a ton. Illinois, they're good, but there's no elite point guard play. That's what they're lacking this year. I've got Chattanooga in the 13v4 upset. Colorado State and Michigan. I think Michigan is like 3-point favorites in this game. They're going to win. They've got Hunter Dickinson, probably going to be his last game, or one of his last games. If they win, they will advance. But overall, I like Michigan, Juwan Howard. As long as Juwan Howard doesn't punch anyone, Michigan should be good. They should get it done. Tennessee and Longwood. I've been in on Longwood since the beginning. Tennessee, getting a little mad. They were like, we should have been a 2 seed. Beggars can't be choosers. They're going to be distracted. They're pissed about their ranking. And Longwood, this is a Longwood team. They've won about 25 games. Oh, it's so impressive. These teams like Longwood, all they do is win. All they do is win. Give me Longwood over Tennessee. Ohio and Loyola Chicago. I think this is a pick'em, and I am going with Loyola Chicago. Chris Holtman, he's struggling. This Ohio State team dealing with injuries. Loyola Chicago in a pick'em over Ohio State in a 7v10. And then Villanova taking on Delaware. This Villanova team just never seemed to get on track in the Big East. They lost about 5 games. They were like 7-5 to start the year. Give me Delaware. I've been studying this Delaware team. I scouted them for over 7 hours last night, and I really like what I'm seeing from Delaware. I've got them in a close, low-scoring game. They'll probably win like 50-49, something like that. Moving to the Midwest, we've got Kansas and Texas Southern. And guys, I watched the first 4. Texas Southern was so impressive against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. They impressed me. I'm picking them to win. I'm telling you, these upsets, they happen all the time, guys. You can never be too sure. Kansas, the thing with Kansas, they just don't have a star. They don't have a star player. When you don't have a star and you're facing a team like Texas Southern, this is an elite basketball team. Did you watch them in the first 4? That was a huge win they had last night. I was so impressed, and I've got them moving on. They will be taking on Creighton, who I have beating San Diego State. San Diego State really bad on offense. Iowa and Richmond, everyone's talking about Iowa. They're great offense. Well, you know what? We saw it last year as well. Iowa has a really bad defense. They're going to lose to Richmond. Richmond won their conference championship. They're taking that momentum. They beat Davidson. This is a team that can do a lot. They're going to light it up. They're going to win like 90-80 in a high-scoring game against the Iowa team that just doesn't play defense. They refuse to play defense. Providence and South Dakota State. I think South Dakota State should be the favorite in this game. Providence is the biggest fraud in the tournament. I believe they're only 2-point favorites as a 4 seed. Give me South Dakota State to get that win in what would be, I guess, called an upset, although it's not really an upset. LSU and Iowa State. LSU struggling. Will Wade gets fired. He's probably going to jail. We don't know. Iowa State, they play great defense. They struggle to score, but LSU without their head coach as a 6 seed, I like Iowa State to win this game. Lower scoring, like 48-37. Really low scoring. Next, we've got Wisconsin and Colgate. And folks, this is so obvious. This is another typical upset. Wisconsin are complete frauds. They won a bunch of close games in the Big Ten, just like Providence did in the Big East. Total frauds. Both Providence and Wisconsin are going home. Colgate has won 17 of their last 18. This is a top 5 team in college basketball. It's crazy. USC and Miami. Give me Miami. USC ran up wins in a week. Big Pac-12 conference. Miami played, the ACC isn't the best, but I like this Miami team. They're very feisty. They're very athletic. I'll take Miami to go to the second round, and they will be taking on Jacksonville State. Auburn, they look so good at the beginning of the year. They've tailed off. They've completely lost any momentum, and this Jacksonville State team is coming in and saying, you're going to underestimate us like this. It's a 15 seed, 17-point underdogs. That's just disrespectful. This game should be a pick'em. I've got Jacksonville State winning it. Moving on to the round of 32, we've got Georgia State and Memphis. Georgia State coming off that Gonzaga win. They're going to build on it. They get the job done. They go to the Sweet 16 over a Memphis team that's been good, but they're still inconsistent. They're young and inconsistent. That's why Georgia State will get the win. We've got New Mexico State and Vermont is just so good. Vermont, I think a lot of people have Vermont in the Sweet 16. They are such a good team. I don't know how they're a 13 seed. They really should be like a 6 seed. I've got them getting the win there. Next, we've got Rutgers taking on Montana State. And there's something about this Montana State team. They've won 18 of the last 20. These teams, all they do is win. All Montana State does is win. I've got them winning that one. They will be taking on Cale State Fullerton, the 15 seed. They will beat Davidson. You know, Davidson's a good team, but they lost to Richmond in their conference championship game. Really not a lot of momentum. They get a good win against Tom Izzo, but after that, they get it cut short by an absolute powerhouse team on a mission. Cale State Fullerton advances. They will go dance into the Sweet 16. Norfolk State taking on Marquette. Guys, these Big East teams are average. Norfolk State, they're going to build off of their momentum. This team's a 21 team. It's so impressive. I've got them dancing to the Sweet 16. They will be taking on Akron out of the MAC. The MAC is so underrated this year. That's going to be a great game. Indiana against Akron. That'll be a toss-up, but I have Akron winning a higher scoring game, really close game. We've got Virginia Tech and Yale. And there's something about this Yale team. These Ivy League schools, they're so good. They're back in it, and they're going to beat Virginia Tech. You know, Virginia Tech, they had a nice run, but this is a team, they're playing in the ACC. They have like 11 losses in the ACC. Let's be real. They're not that unbelievable. And then we've got San Francisco taking on St. Peter's. I've got St. Peter's getting hot from 3 and going dancing to the Sweet 16. Really would be huge for their program. Next, we've got Bryant taking on TCU. And this Bryant team is impressive. They beat Wagner in their conference championship game. They crushed them. I have Bryant advancing. They will be taking on Chattanooga. A lot of people in on Chattanooga. They love Chattanooga. They will be going to the Sweet 16. They will be going dancing. Michigan and Longwood. You know, I like Michigan. I like the talent. But this is a team that's really struggled for some reason. They've had like 14 losses. And this Longwood team, they don't lose. You look at the records, they're used to winning. Michigan is a team, they lose a lot. You got to take that in consideration. Longwood gets the job done. They will be taking on Delaware, who will defeat Loyola Chicago. We understand that. Next, we've got Texas Southern taking on Creighton. Again, guys, you watch that first 4 game, I was so impressed with Texas Southern, the way they spread out, their overall offense, really impressive. And Creighton, the thing with these Big East teams, they're average. The Big East is a bunch of average teams. I have Texas Southern winning that game. They will be taking on South Dakota State. South Dakota State is like 27-4 on the year. It is crazy how good South Dakota State is. Iowa State and Colgate. This is a great matchup. The battle of offense versus defense. I have Colgate advancing. They're so underseeded. They've won 17 of their last 18. Iowa State, I said they're good on defense, but they cannot score. They're going to really struggle to hang with a really good Colgate team offensively. Miami and Jacksonville State. The battle of Florida. Could you imagine? This would be ratings gold. Ratings gold, Miami and Jacksonville State. And folks, Jacksonville State, they're pissed. They're getting so disrespected. It's so sad. I've got Jacksonville State advancing. They will go dancing to the Sweet 16. Now we've got our Sweet 16 games. We've got Georgia State and Vermont. Ratings gold mine, and I have Georgia State advancing over Vermont. Vermont, it was a good run, but let's not make it unrealistic. Let's be real about it. This Vermont team's good, but they're not going to the Elite Eight. Let's be honest. Georgia State is going. Montana State versus Cal State Fullerton. You know, I love Montana State. I love what they've done. But Cal State Fullerton, we got to be real. We got to keep this realistic. Montana State, they made a nice run. Cinderella team, it ends there. Cal State Fullerton, that's a team I'm expecting. They will be going to the Elite Eight. How great would that be for their program? Norfolk State and Akron, we love the MAC, guys. The MAC is so good. Akron, this would be such a great game. But it's just the overall eliteness of Norfolk State. They're going to take it. They're going to beat Akron. They will be going to the Elite Eight. And they're going to be taking on St. Peter's. Because the thing is, guys, I've been so impressed with Yale, but we're keeping it realistic. Yale's not going to the Elite Eight. They're really not. St. Peter's, this team, they get hot from 3. They shoot threes really well. I've got them advancing to the Elite Eight. Moving on to the South, we've got Bryant taking on Chattanooga, and it's been such a great run for Chattanooga. But you take a look at an elite team like Bryant, yeah, that team's going to the Elite Eight. How big would that be for their program? And they will take on Delaware. What a Sweet 16 matchup this would be. Longwood and Delaware, oh my God. Unbelievable. That would be on CBS 100%, and Delaware wins that one. They will move to the Elite Eight. We've got Texas Southern and South Dakota State. South Dakota State, this is going to be a really close game. This is elite college basketball. But there's something about Texas Southern. I scouted them last night. I was watching their game. I was like, oh my goodness, this team is loaded. They are loaded. They took care of Texas A&M Corpus Christi easily. And they're moving on to the Elite Eight. What an unbelievable win that would be. Colgate and Jacksonville State. It's been a great run for Colgate. But this Jacksonville State team, they're underrated. They're disrespected. They know that. And what a game that would be. But Jacksonville State gets the win there. We're on to the Elite Eight games. It's going to be Georgia State and Cale State Fullerton. And you know what? I love Cale State Fullerton, but Georgia State, this team, we know they had their massive tournament run about 5 years ago. This is a program with experience. They know how to win in March, and they will be moving on to the Final Four. Next, we've got Norfolk State and St. Peter's. You know, St. Peter's is a team, they're hot or cold from three. I've had them making a bunch of threes. Well, this game, I think Norfolk State shuts them down from the three-point line. Norfolk State advances to the Final Four. We've got Bryant taking on Delaware. And folks, I love Bryant. When I saw what Bryant did to Wagner in their conference championship, I knew I was going to pick them to go to the Final Four. Bryant advances to the Final Four, and they will be taking on Texas Southern. What a game that would be, Texas Southern against Jacksonville State. But there's Texas Southern, the first four game. You guys see that? It was impressive. They're advancing. And now we've got the Final Four matchups. It's going to be Georgia State taking on Norfolk State. And guys, what a game this would be. But I do have Norfolk State advancing to the NCAA championship on April 4th. This is a lower scoring game, 52-49 over Georgia State. And then we've got Bryant taking on Texas Southern, and I am going to go with Texas Southern in a close, higher scoring game. This Texas Southern team has impressed me so much. That sets up our national championship game. And ladies and gentlemen, the national champions will be Norfolk State by a final score of 1-0. They're going to make a free throw at the end of it. That is my official bracket, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone enjoys March Madness. Let me make sure I submit this. This is going to win the whole men's tournament challenge. This is a tournament challenge. I'm entered now, and I win. We're going to have to see how this bracket does. There it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.